Who doesn't need a quick laugh to go along with some food for thought? Hello, I'm Dan Hill, the host of Scrambled Eggs, Tips and Tactics for Tackling Tough Business Problems. Today's distinguished guests, Martin Reeves and Jack Fuller, they are the co-authors of The Imagination Machine, How to Spark New Ideas and Create Your Company's Future. It's a book that is helping companies demystify and operationalize the role that imagination can play in interjecting new life into their futures. Martin and Jack, you've been given 5 terms and a diabolical definition for each, from blah, 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 a snarky guide to office lingo. There's a little truth in every joke. Of those 5 options for each of you in turn, please read aloud your favorite and explain why you chose it.
Yeah, for me, I thought that the definition of alignment was amusing. You say it's a common rookie mistake, failing to recognize that being asked to align on something by a manager really means to fall into line. I think it's funny because there's an element of truth, and also because the polarity is ambivalent. I mean, is falling into line a good thing? It's good that people push in the same direction. It's also fatal if there's a lack of diversity, which leads to exploration and adaptation, as we explore in our book.
Okay, fair enough. And Jack, in turn, how about for you?
Yeah, the one that I liked was pipeline, which you define as the elongated version of a black hole. I thought that was very funny. I think it also has an element of truth where people put things into the to-do list or the pipeline. It sounds wonderful, this wonderful metaphor of things flowing, but actually it's just a gigantic black hole. And I do think a lot of the ingredients of imagination go into the pipeline. You know, making time to reflect on the business, stepping back to think about the big picture, those kinds of things tend to disappear into the black hole.
Sure. Well, the book is crowdsourced, but that definition happens to be mine, and it comes from talking to the VP of a very major pharmaceutical company. And the two parties came into the merger thinking each had a really robust pipeline of new product ideas. And basically at the moment of signing, they came to realize both of them were pretending, and they were about to have a tremendous problem because there was very little ahead of them.
Okay.
So now let's turn to your book, The Imagination Machine. What's a key term in this case, and what does it mean for you?
Well, it has to be imagination, of course, which we all think we understand, but it's rarely defined precisely. So we define imagination as the ability to conceive of things that don't exist but could. They don't defy the laws of physics, they could exist. And then bringing those things about, which is actually a remarkable property of companies, the ability to take an intangible idea, something that doesn't exist, and to make it so commonplace and ordinary and widespread that it almost becomes boring.
Okay, and obviously a lack of imagination would be the problem that having imagination could ideally solve. Jack, maybe just one key tip or tactic that you've come up with to help, the two of you come up with to help solve this problem.
Yeah, imagination is triggered by what is called technically a surprise, meaning some kind of information that upsets your existing model. And usually in business, we get into a routine. We want things to be predictable and unsurprising. But in fact, to stimulate imagination, you need to get out of the metaphorical house, maybe literally go to a different environment, social or geographical environment, or just change the information streams coming to you so that you encounter something different. That's the starting point for imagination. So companies that want to be more imaginative can think about building that in to their company.
Okay, no, I like that very much. I can't tell you how many times I've given a presentation for a client in advance. They said, no surprises, please. And I thought, well, surely that's the entire point here. We're going to learn something and get somewhere in this discussion.
Yes.
So it always made me feel with a little trepidation going in those kinds of meetings. So I want to thank you both, Martin and Jack. This has been episode number 12 of Scrambled Eggs with your host, Dan Hill, the author of Blah, 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 a snarky guide to office lingo. Thank you both.
Thank you.